Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're basically going on a treasure hunt. We're going to unlock the secrets hidden inside a real exam mark scheme to find out exactly what you need to write to get those top marks. So let's dive in.
So, have you ever had that feeling? You've revised for weeks, you know your stuff inside and out, but the marks you get back just don't seem to reflect all that hard work. Well, a lot of the time, the gap between knowing your subject and scoring high marks comes down to one thing: understanding what the examiner is actually looking for.
And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to use the official AQA mark scheme as our guide. By breaking down just one single question from a real GCSE paper, question 09, we'll learn how to think like an examiner and craft the perfect answer.
All right, let's get straight to it. We're going to break down question 09 part by part, looking at precisely what the mark scheme demands for every single point. First up, we have 09.1, which is all about those biological classification groups. Now, this is kind of a knowledge recall question, but honestly, the way it's marked is what's really interesting here.
So take a look at the marking for this one. You can see the answers they want are kingdom, phylum, class, and order. But check this out. If you get all 4 right, you get 2 marks. Great. But if you only get 2 or 3 of them right, you still get 1 mark. The key thing to remember is that it's not always an all-or-nothing game.
Okay, let's move on to 09.2. This part asks for a specific binomial species name. It's only worth 1 mark, so you know what that means. Precision is absolutely everything. As you can see right there, straight from the mark scheme, the answer is Geospiza fortis. But the real gold for us is in that extra information column. That's where the real learning happens.
See, the mark scheme tells the examiner to ignore things like underlining, italics, or even if you mess up the upper and lowercase letters. This is seriously great news. It means you shouldn't waste precious time in the exam stressing about getting the formatting perfect. As long as you spell Geospiza fortis correctly, you get the mark. Simple as that. Right, let's have a look at 09.3. This question shifts gears a bit. Now we're interpreting data, and it's asking you to describe the relationship between the beak depths of parents and their offspring. The 1 mark answer, and I'm taking this word for word from the scheme, is offspring have similar beak depths to parents. That exact phrasing is what the examiner has been told to look out for. And wow, this slide right here shows you just how important that is. If you write that offspring have these same beak depths, you get 0 marks. The mark scheme is super clear. Ignore that answer. The magic word is similar. That one little word is literally the difference between getting the point and getting nothing at all. So, building on that idea, question 09.4 digs a little deeper into the data. This time, it's asking about the concept of variation within the offspring.
Now, the cool thing here is that the mark scheme gives you a few different ways to get this mark. You could say something like, parents of a given beak depth produce offspring with several beak depths, or you could talk about the spread of results or the range of phenotypes. The main idea you need to get across is that offspring are not just identical copies of their parents.
All right, here we go, the big one, question 9.5. This is a 6-mark extended response question where you've got to clearly and logically explain the whole process of natural selection in this specific context.
Now, if you look at the mark scheme, you'll see it's not looking for one big, long paragraph. It's broken down into 6 very distinct marking points. The secret here isn't to write some beautiful flowing essay. Nope. It's about hitting these 6 specific points, one by one, to build your answer and rack up those marks.
So think of it like a recipe. Step 1, you state the initial variation in beak depth. Step 2, you explain the genetic reason for it. That's genes, alleles, or mutation. Step 3, you identify the environmental pressure, in this case, the large seeds. Step 4, you mention the competition for that food. Step 5, you link the larger beak size to survival. And finally, step 6, you connect that survival to reproduction and passing on those successful alleles. You hit those 6 points, you get the 6 marks. Let's finish this question off with 09.6. This last part asks why 2 different bird species can survive on the same island. This is really testing your understanding of ecology. And the mark scheme lays out a super clear line of reasoning. Because Isabella is a large island, it has a greater variety of food sources. This variety means there's less direct competition between the 2 bird species. That allows both of them to find enough resources to survive and reproduce. It's a nice, logical chain of events. Okay, so we've torn that whole question apart. Now let's just pull back for a second and review the key principles we've learned about how you can use a mark scheme to your advantage. You're going to see this word, allow, all over mark schemes. This word is your best friend. It basically means the examiner will accept an alternative correct answer or phrasing. So for example, in that big 6-mark question, the scheme allows you to mention genes or alleles or mutation. It gives you some flexibility in how you write your answer. If there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this: precision matters. We saw how the difference between same and similar was the difference between 0 marks and 1 mark. Using precise scientific language isn't just about sounding smart. It's about making sure you get every single point you deserve.
So look, we've walked through this one together, but the real goal here is to give you the tools and the confidence to go and do this for yourself.
This isn't just about question 09. What you've learned here is a method. You now know how to take any question, find the official mark scheme for it, and decode exactly what is needed for every single mark. This skill is something you can use for any question in any topic you study. So what's next? Don't wait. Pick a topic you're revising right now, find a past paper question on it, and use the mark scheme to plan out the perfect answer just like we did today. Which topic are you going to choose? Thanks for joining me.